Our next guest has won 6 SEC championships and a national title. And, oh, yeah, not to mention, he won the Heisman back in 1966. You remember that, don't you, Skip?
Do I?
Yes, I'm sure you were.
Yeah. We welcome to the desk Steve Spurrier. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you, Coach.
It's
good to be with
you,
all of y'all.
Now, you honestly said that we're one of your favorite shows. That's huge. And Skip knew that, too. You had mentioned that earlier in our meeting. We appreciate that.
Yes,
I'm
we
honored.
do.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, I have a little more extra time maybe than some coaches. I don't know. I'm in my office, so I'm on the treadmill.
No, you're staying in better shape.
I get to watch
That's
these
what it
guys
is.
all the time. You too.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Mr. Clowney, give us his ceiling. How you've coached in pro and college football. How high can he climb as a player?
Skip, I get asked this all the time, and my answer is very simple. He was the #1 high school recruit in the nation, and all the NFL guys say he's going to be the #1 NFL pick after this season. So he's a pretty good player. Yeah, he's one of those. He's one of those guys. Exceptional speed, quickness. He ran a 4.4 the other day at the end of summer workouts, and he loves to play football. He's a wonderful young man too. We enjoy being around him.
I met him at the ESPYs. It's a big boy. Thank the good Lord he'll never hit me. But I got to tell you, I wonder with all the acclaim that has come in his direction, particularly in the last few months. Any concerns about that at all? Simply because young guys getting that kind of hype, whether or not they can live up to it, act accordingly. Any concerns at all about
Oh, exactly, Stephen A. With so many people and these agents and runners trying to give these young players money to be their guy and all that kind of stuff. Somebody asked me, said, what's your biggest concern going into the summer? I said that Jadeveon Clowney stays quiet and nobody gives him it. You know, he doesn't sell a T-shirt or a jersey. It doesn't take any money because people are trying to give him money. And Jadeveon's had a very quiet summer, which is the way we like it, and I think he's ready to go.
It's something that you bring up that subject, and I was telling Skip earlier this morning, I remember watching you at the SEC Media Day, and you addressed the fact that whether it's a stipend or something to give to these players, that you and the other SEC coaches all signed off on it. Could you educate our audience as to what you were talking about? What exactly did you guys sign off on? What exactly do you propose?
Okay. It was a proposal brought by one of the coaches that we designate 75 players per game to get expense money of $300. You could send it to their parents, their guardian, whoever, or they could get it. $300 a game for expense money, lodging, meals, food, all kind of stuff, and gas money. And if they want to give it to their parents, let their parents have it, or else maybe they can have $100 in their pocket when the game's over to go out to dinner, what have you. We all know how much football, college football, and college basketball bring in. So I've included those basketball guys too, to where they would get approximately $4,200 a year. That's an all year just to have a little pocket expense. And of course, everybody says, well, you can't do that. You got to pay all the other athletes. And Title IX, now I don't know all the laws about Title IX, but I know that us football coaches are making more money than the women's softball coach or the women's volleyball coach. So is that Title IX? I don't know.
Yeah, but Coach, wait, in this allotment, they don't get it all at once. They get it per game, correct?
Yeah, per game, or give it to their mom, their parent, their guardian, whoever. Just some expense money to help them throughout the year.
That still seems like a pittance to me.
It is a very little. It's very small amount of money compared to what's coming in now.
And Skip, for the record, right in front of Coach, my thing is I don't want to hear the argument from other folks about what other sports are not getting because they don't generate the money. Whoever generates the revenue should have the money
and
to
demand.
Well, go ahead, Skip.
I agree. Yeah. Coach, I do hear some people, some experts making a case for South Carolina winning the national championship this year. Are you comfortable with that?
Well, we're not talking about it, Skip, but if they want to throw it out there, it's okay. It's all, you know, it's good to think big. Our Clemson coach, he throws it out there for Clemson right now. We're not talking it right now. But
how fair is it?
Well, we do have a good team. I think we'll be preseason top 10. So, you know, almost every team in the top 10, if ball bounces their way, get a few breaks, almost every team's got a chance maybe to win it all.
Coach, my concern about you guys are at quarterback. You've got Connor Shore, obviously, with Marcus Lattimore going. I mean, he's your leading rusher. He's coming back even though he's your quarterback, him and Dylan Thompson. I mean, you've got two guys that you can throw in at the quarterback spot, but who are you looking to use? Who's the guy everybody should be watching out for?
Connor Shaw is 17-3 as a starter. He's got the winningest percentage in the history of the school. He's our starter. He's a tough
gamer
player that can really play. He's a good passer and a good runner. Dylan Thompson came on at the end of last year, and he's sort of a drop-back passer like the guys we used to have in
Who for
Florida.
1,000 yards?
Yeah, he's a good player also, and I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out, but we got two good ones there.
Do you like having the 1 and the 1A?
I wish one was clearly the best, and we think Connor Shaw is clearly, for what we do running the ball, is our best quarterback. But Dylan deserves to play in there some also. We got two good running backs, even though Marcus was the best in school history. Mike Davis and Brandon Wiles. Both these young guys can play. And you don't know much about Mike Davis yet, but watch him play this year.
No.
Really?
Really? Wow.
Coach, I need your help on this. It seems like not a day passes that we all wake up and we read yet another story about a college or even a pro athlete in trouble. You have coached for years and years, thousands of young men in college and pro football. Can you put this in some perspective, why this continues to happen and happen and happen?
I don't have the answer why it continues to happen, Skip. My first year at South Carolina, we had a bunch of guys, 2 or 3 guys, broke into some dorm rooms and stole some stuff. And Tom Rinaldi came down there, and it almost like it was my fault. One of the coaches. I said, "Don't worry, Tom, we're getting rid of them. Let me get rid of them first." But just my philosophy, Skip. In fact, when I first got to Florida, they used to have some fights with the football team and the fraternity guys. They'd have a party, and there'd always be some fights. So I told the guys, the first one that starts a fight down there is gone. And sure enough, about 2 weeks after I was down there, one of them started a fight. And fortunately, he wasn't a starter. Fortunately, but he was removed from the team. If he'd been a starter, I'd had to remove him also. So that got the message. And guess how many fights at the fraternity house after that?
Right.
None. So that ended that. So you got to have rules, got to enforce them, and
you know,
hopefully.
It's interesting because with Skip's question has me thinking about it. I mean, you've coached in the NFL in Washington. You've coached in college football. Obviously, you're back in the SEC with South Carolina. All the years that you've been coaching, all the success that you've reaped, I wonder, based on Skip's question, have you ever found yourself, Coach, wondering how much time you want to have left? I'm not talking about somebody pushing you out of. I'm talking about you sitting there as a guy that says, you know, the coach has changed. It might be a little bit different now than it was when I coached earlier. I don't know how much longer I want to deal with this stuff, especially with the NCAA and the little nitpick rules and everything else. What do you say to that?
Stephen A., I tell people I have pretty much a stress-free job. I really do. I got an excellent assistant coaching staff. Lorenzo Ward, defensive coordinator. I got 2 offensive assistant coordinators. I still call the plays, so I can still remember the plays. But our guys do a super job. I mean, they can recruit guys all by themselves. Of course, I call them and, you know, get in touch and all that. But it's not like the head coach has to recruit every player like basketball. The head coach has got to go get those guys. So I got 2 of my sons on the staff. One's a graduate assistant. Steve Jr. is a wide receiver coach, been there all 8 years and so forth. So it's a comfortable situation. And we're getting good players every year to come to South Carolina. So we're winning more than ever in the school history. Everybody's happy right now. But if it starts going south, then I'll know the time is, hey, somebody else needs to take this job.
No, wait a second. You might be the first coach in SEC history to say you have a stress-free job, right?
It pretty much is.
In the Southeastern Conference?
Well, you know, you get your guys ready and go play, and that's the fun part of it. You know.
You work smart. That sounds that way to me.
Well, hopefully.